In my estimation, I could come on here and give you the cure for cancer or a guaranteed formula to make $1 million, and it would only get 4 views. Why is it that way? Well, I have my opinion on that, and it's based on observation of what I've seen happen to other people who have gotten onto this game. You're censored, you're silenced, you're put out of business. And that's what happens when you get this figured out. And the closer you get to figuring it out, the more it happens. I guess I'll touch on something I've touched on before. I don't want to be here. I hate it here. I've always hated it here. I didn't ask to come here. I don't want to be here. And I don't foresee my experience on this planet or realm of existence getting any better from here on out. But if you want to bring about what amounts to the end of the world, have at it. Because I can negotiate that world. That's where I come from. That's what jaded me on the world in the first place. So you want to laugh and joke and speculate about things that are completely ridiculous? Go ahead. And should you find yourself in my vicinity when what I have called the worst case scenario becomes reality, I will use your broken and battered body as an example to everyone else of what not to do as I crack jokes over your demise. Because it seems like sarcasm is the only way to get people to learn things. I just watched the footage out of Butler County that was released today, which confirmed something I already knew. That was a live incident. That actually happened. It wasn't some WWE skit where somebody slipped a blade out and cut their ear all for effect. That ain't what happened. And you can tell based on the way that threw those officers into the panic that they were in. Leading me to another observation. If that's the kind of response that you can expect or we can expect from our local sheriff's departments, we're in a whole lot of trouble. Because the one guy who was running the camera, he couldn't even rack his weapon to get around in the chamber. It took him like 4 attempts to do it. Not to mention the fact that they're second guessing everything that came over the radio and hesitating with their response and all that. That is not the way to deal with a live situation like that. Either they didn't take their training seriously or it wasn't good enough. And that comes back to a lot of the reasons why the vets have been treated the way they've been treated. They want them broken and battered by the time whatever they have planned for us gets here, so that we won't respond in the way we've been trained to respond. And I could say the same thing about the general public. They want you misinformed. And the people who are misinforming you will be given a voice because of it. Because the further you are away from seeing what's actually going on, the less effective your response will be when the time comes. Case in point, I don't want to be here. I hate this freaking place. I always have. And that's the reason I drink Mountain Dew exclusively. That's the reason I smoke like a diesel. Because I was told if you do those things to yourself, you won't be here very long. Crap. None of that has worked. None of the other things that I've done, putting myself in extreme risk, have worked either. But that time's coming. And the people who I call the players who have become NPCs stuck on level 23 are making possible by keep spouting the same stupid narrative with just a different wing of the same bird and saying different side of the same coin kind of thing, when it's fairly obvious that all went out the window in 2016. I know a lot of people like that. I have respect and call people friends who say those things. But it drives me freaking crazy to hear them say it because it's so obvious that it isn't that way. Again, you have two choices. You can play for Team Tyranny or Team Freedom. You can watch Freewill and Freedom die, or you can play on Team Freedom or for Team Freedom and have a chance to find out what should have been instead of what is today. But when you try to ride the middle and spout that NPC bullshit, you're actually playing for Team Tyranny because they want people misinformed. They want people unable to respond. They want you stupid. Hell, they think you're stupid. And they demonstrate that to us en masse every day. And how people could keep preaching the NPC narrative at this point is beyond my comprehension. If you're going to win the game, you got to have your head in the game. And even though you might be on the field, don't mean your head's in the game. Even though you understand what the plays are and all that kind of stuff, if your head ain't in the game and you're not watching the ball, you ain't going to win the game. Or, more simply put, and along my lines, it's your last chance to save your beautiful ride. And if you don't take it, you're going to end up riding around in some piece of junk you ain't never going to be happy with. And when your current ride goes to the junkyard, it's going to be full of your friends and family when it finally goes in the crusher.